how to eat the $1 trillion hard asset consulting pie. In this training, this is going to be a game changer for you guys. So let me just give you some context before we get started. So let's get into it. The consulting services sector has expanded at a fast pace in the last several years. With North America and Europe, they're the ones that have represented the largest regional markets worldwide. And the average revenue per management consultants, for instance, it literally reached $212,000 in the United States, and this was in 2023. So the dramatic growth of the industry between 2020 and 2022 has proven that companies need external consultants with strategic knowledge about business administration, business development, as well as expertise about the industry in which clients operate. So this business value was demonstrated by the market size of the industry reaching more than $1 trillion in 2022. And this expertise in the management consulting industry has often been broken down by service line, and this has normally been represented by financial and strategic categories. And some consulting firms have been used by governments in the outsourcing of public services as trust in the industry has continued. Who is actively leveraging the consulting industry? Well, check this out. Verizon paid $120 million in 2 years to McKinsey. And what they got in exchange for those $120 million was advice. And this is not just Verizon. It's all of the Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 companies. Really, every company is paying external companies to bring in some type of knowledge that will give them a competitive edge. It isn't just publicly traded or private companies. It's also the government. Okay, so the government is spending billions, hundreds of millions of dollars on external consulting companies like BCG in exchange for advice. So what does this look like as far as revenue, right? So I want you to think of the big four firms, right? And what I'm talking about right now would be PwC, Ernst & Young, and KPMG, right? One of the top three. But just them alone, they're doing like $34 billion a year, right? Just them alone. So think about it. PwC is making $20.7 billion. Infosys Consulting, $16.3 billion. Ernst & Young's Advisory, $13.8 billion. KPMG Advisory, $13.6 billion. And Cisco Systems Consulting, $12 billion. That is per year. That's revenue per year, guys. I'm not fluffing these numbers. And then when we go into management consulting firms by revenue, these are, again, a big three in the management space, also known as MBB, which is Boston Consulting Group, and McKinsey. They're one of the biggest consulting firms in the world. CGI Group is doing $12.1 billion, BCG $11 billion, McKinsey's doing $10.5 billion, Booz Allen Hamilton $8.3 billion, and HP Enterprise Technology Service $7.8 billion per year. Now let's get into those technology firms by revenue. Bain & Company is doing $5.8 billion. Mercer LLC is doing $5 billion. IBM Global Services is doing $4.7 billion per year. And SAP Services Consulting is doing $3.5 billion. And Oracle Consulting is doing $3.5 billion a year, guys. These 20 consulting firms are the firms that are the largest in terms of revenue. And overall, if you want the biggest slice of the consulting pie, you really want to look into tech consulting, right? And for a lesson in how to remain more focused yet still scale, you want to look no further than McCain, Bain, and BCG. So I hope this gives you some context on what we're going to cover in today's training, because today's training is going to be the most valuable for you if you're tired of being a slave to your business, if you're ready to start delivering better, faster results and become the leading expert in your industry, if you're sick of seeing people just like you earning 10 times, 100 times more every single month in the same industry, and if you're finally ready to be the superstar entrepreneur, leader, and founder that you were born to be. So today's training aims to really help you ascend strategically in a new positioning and fulfillment model that allows you to access 10x more leverage. And most business owners will never experience what making $1 million in a year feels like due to their inability to understand the simple fact that hard work alone doesn't make you deserving of wealth in abundance. My YouTube videos explain how to introduce more leverage into your organization. And if you haven't seen them yet, that means you're unleveraged. Now, let's get into some lessons on leverage. So if you're not familiar with Archimedes, let me give you one of his most famous quotes. He said, "Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world." Now, the word leverage is derived from the noun lever, and levers have been used for a very long time. The term lever in science is used to describe an arrangement where input effort is magnified by certain times to produce a higher output force to lift the load. Now picture this, in the next 12 months, I've set myself a wild goal to make 100 founders $1 million in profit each. And you know how we're going to do it? By selling really expensive solutions that the marketplace is begging for. Things that can not easily be replicated by average players. And this is the stuff that makes those get-rich-quick dreamers feel sick to their stomachs because they can't just copy it and make a quick buck. We're going down a road that's all about being original and not just another copycat in this world. Now, what does this actually look like? So, I just want to give you guys some more context, right? So what does Deloitte, PwC, Ernst & Young, and KPMG actually do? So Deloitte does audits and assurance, consulting, financial advisory, risk advisory, tax and legal. PwC does assurance services, advisory services, tax and legal services, and strategy. Ernst & Young does assurance, advisory, tax, and strategy transactions. And KPMG does audit, advisory, and tax, right? So, and like this goes down to all the real big players in the consulting space, but I'm just covering these top four because at an entry-level consultant at one of these companies, your income can range anywhere from $60,000 to $90,000 annually, depending on the country and the specific service line that you're working on. And then experienced consultants at these companies earn anywhere between $90,000 and $150,000 or more. And that range includes mid-level managers and senior consultants. And then when you're in the senior roles or you're a specialist, right, you're earning anywhere from $150,000 to $250,000 plus, right? Some could be earning as much as $1 million or more annually, depending on bonuses, if they have a performance structure or they have any type of equity or profit sharing agreements. Now, all of this to say that if you do not want to take home more than $500,000 a year in your pocket, go hide in corporate America. The entrepreneurial journey is not for you. You will not be able to tolerate the pain and suffering required to build a legacy that can be transferred to your kids or sold for a high multiple. Now that we got the riff-raff out of here, because please, if you do identify with what I just said, please stop watching this video. This video is not for you. We're never going to be able to work together. We need people that think bigger, that want to make an impact in the world, and they understand that the vision has to be big enough for them to be able to tolerate the pain required. Now that we got them out of here, let's get into it. So the profit model of the traditional, what I call the slavery flywheel, right? It's a broken profit model of the traditional service, coaching, and consulting businesses. So this slavery flywheel of being a commodity, right? Let me just give you some examples. In the beginning, it's all sunshine and rainbows because you have one contractor and you're profiting 50% of your $3K a month retainer, $10K a month retainer, whatever. Then you start investing into acquisition, whether that's lead gen, appointment setting, sales, and that takes 50% of your monthly retainer and sometimes even 100%, but you're hopeful to be profitable on month 2 and 3. But then you realize you can't deliver results consistently to your clients because of other problems in their businesses, whether that's pricing model, they can't sell, they got no shows, or they can't fulfill, whatever. And it leaves you with two options, right? Option number one is hire other experts or contractors, which means no more profit will be left for you. Or option number two, the client churns and no profit will be made from that client. Both options lead you to not making any money. So what happens? You double down on marketing and acquiring clients to replace the one you lost. And over time, your niche becomes more resistant to your offer. And it's super hard or expensive to get prospects on sales calls. And when you do, they start comparing you to others who are charging way less. And if you've experienced this, then today's your lucky day, as I'll make sure that you never experience this pain again. And only sell and position your offer as the cure to a problem that is unavoidable. I want you to learn an important lesson around product service market fit. In 2013, I spent 1 year going through courses and struggling to get single clients because I was selling Facebook ads without knowing the real reason behind why someone would want to run ads. And surface level reasons like ads will make you more money is what will keep you from experience your first $10,000 a month. In 2014, I made the decision to stop selling ads and instead sold traffic on demand systems, not because it was trendy, but because I experienced the pain and the doubts that come with an empty calendar and not closing deals. I knew the real pain I needed to target, and I offered an affordable solution to a niche market. 45 days later, I hit my first $30,000. Now let's do a quick lesson on churn. Right? So churn actually means that you're losing all types of leverage. Your inputs amount to zero outputs. While running my traffic on demand agency in 2015 and doing around 30K a month, I had a big problem. Most of my clients would churn after 30 to 60 days, not because I couldn't deliver results, but because of other problems like my clients' offers, their sales process and scripts and other things, right? And it led me to every week I had to go run and get a new client, book calls, take calls, close deals, onboard clients, create strategy and launch campaigns. I experienced low margins, not being able to hire better talent who could take care of client success, closing, setting up systems, run operations. I started feeling like I had given up one treadmill, which was my 50K a year job, for a more glorified treadmill at 30K a month. And it just didn't sit right with me, especially as I started seeing people left and right generating $100,000 a month, $500,000 a month. I just couldn't understand how I was working as hard as I could to make 30K a month, and I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I had no idea as to how I would scale to 100K a month. Regardless of how I felt though, it wasn't the thing that triggered me to change. What led me to going from a Facebook ads agency to viral growth media was one thing and one thing only, which was client results. I couldn't handle generating calls and having them not close, or not being able to generate calls for my clients because of the following. Right? They were selling bad offers or services and pitching niches that were super competitive, right? The market had become numb to the messaging and the offer. They had no sales assets online to warm up and educate the prospects before a sales call, and they just couldn't close deals. So instead of complaining about these problems, I decided to solve for the problems myself. So I created Viral Growth Media. And I didn't want to be a coaching company due to high competition. So therefore, I mixed done for you and consulting and created a scalable impact model. And we'd analyze the company's offer based on data we had. We would improve it or create a new offer for them. We'd build their outbound campaigns and place a trained setter in their company instead of managing the setter internally. And we'd implement our sales process, scripts, and systems in their company. So what we realized is there was a bigger gap, right? When you have a one service, a commoditized offer, you're solving for one small part of the gap to get them to their desired situation, which in this example would be 100K a month. So what we did was we created a specialized, irresistible, sustainable offer that was a build and release type of offer to solve for the entire gap and to get them to their desired situation, which meant instead of being a commoditized offer, which is low pricing power, we were able to demand a high pricing power, right? So this led to every prospect that saw our offer to literally feel bad for not buying our service. And due to the high demand, I started increasing the price because I needed to optimize for the right price and the right volume. So what happened? The same prospects who were complaining about the $3,500, $5K a month for done for you Facebook ads agency pricing were comfortably paying $5,000, $9,800, and $14,800 up front. How? People buy results, not the process, and people want results now. Selling your offer with a defined end allows you to 2x to 5x your price because your prospect is more excited or willing to spend to experience the outcome. Now, let's get into the scalable impact flywheel, right? So this is when you're leveraging that ISS offer, that build and release infrastructure type of offer, and you're going high ticket, 10K minimum, right, to those 100K. We've even sold these type of offers at the $500,000 level, right, to these big companies. But what happens when you go high ticket is you get those 60 to 80% profit margins, which means you're able to afford that type of superstar talent on the back end that consistently gives you those transformational results without you being involved with the service delivery. So what happens is you get a higher retention rate, you can afford better attention with new case studies, and you're playing in this flywheel, which is what gets you to those 100K, 500K per month effortlessly. So what's the impact of the scalable impact model for clients, right? They pay the invoice in 48 hours, they have a proven offer. In 14 to 90 days, they have a trained team of setters taking care of generating attention, leads, and appointments. In 15 to 60 days, they close their first few deals. And all they had to do was pay an invoice, allow me and my team to build out the $100,000 a month infrastructure, and they just focus on closing deals. Even though it was a 4-month process, the infrastructure, the value, and the results had to be delivered within the 4 to 8 weeks. And no one till this day has built the infrastructure like we have at Viral Growth Media to make it easy for service, coaches, and consultancies, businesses to scale, because it takes operational excellence to pull off what we do effortlessly, right? No one could easily replicate my offer, so I stopped being a commodity and demanded premium pricing. In 60 days after launching my offer, we went from 30K a month to 100K a month. Right? And that premium pricing, it led to insane levels of profits at 70%. And we could afford to remove myself from the most important areas of the business. I stopped selling, I stopped onboarding, I stopped consulting, and I stopped building systems. So what happened? We were able to get that superstar talent. We got better insights due to the extensive experience of my team, got better client results, more case studies, higher closing rates. We achieved 40% closing rate on a 14K offer 3 months in a row, which led to $300,000 a month, working 20 hours per week. How do you perfect the delivery, right? You sell your offer. This is exactly what you'll need. One, you're going to clarify that you're not a commodity. So you're going to showcase how you solve every obstacle. People want results and an end date. So you'll be able to charge 2 to 3 times more if you sell your offer with a defined end date, which is why we call it a program. And then you need a price anchor. You want to anchor the prospect to the price they would have to pay to work with agencies, consultants, coaches, or hire internally before you ever mention price. And then you do a bonus stack, right? Most prospects will come in for one thing, but it will be crucial for you to unbundle and showcase each deliverable as a separate mechanism. This will increase the perceived value of your offer. Then you need scarcity. You need to clarify that there is a limited supply. There's a bandwidth issue, right? It comes down to, can your team service all these people? No, we can't. We can only take on 4 clients per quarter, 4 partners per quarter to make sure that we're able to fulfill effectively with everyone. And then urgency. You absolutely need urgency. So you want a time cap. You want to make the offer only available until X date, right? And then you want to put in a guarantee. You want to provide a conditional guarantee. If after 90 days, we haven't made you X amount and we've implemented every mechanism, we'll happily refund you. And then your pricing structure, right? So due to how much value is in your offer, you can ask for a lot of money. So how do we justify charging someone $15K to $250K upfront plus a percentage or a retainer on the back end? The answer is potential. So we charge 10% of the potential of the infrastructure, right? The times the probability of experiencing the outcome, right? So the pricing formula equals yearly revenue potential times profitability of outcome times 10%. And that equals your upfront fee for your build and release type of offer. So that's $300,000 times 0.5 times 0.1, that equals $15,000 up front. And then you want to have a performance fee. You add a 10% to 25%, whether it's profit share or revenue share on the back end. And with the right offer, right, the right lever and fulcrum, you get to charge more than anyone else in your industry. Now, let me just let you in on this $1.5 million monthly recurring revenue secret. Okay, after the program ends, you downsell them on the upsell. Okay, from 15K to 250K upfront plus 25% to $2,500 a month plus 5% times 12 months commitment. This way of charging high ticket up front and retaining them on a smaller retainer every month scaled the coaching gym launch business to 500 gyms, paying them $3,200 per month to the Hormozis. That's their secret. I mean, it's not a secret. They talk about it. But this is their model, right? And they didn't create this model. They got this model from the big consulting firms, right? Alex's background is in management consulting. He was at one of the big management consulting firms that worked with the government. He learned this from there and applied it into his own organization, which led to $1.6 million in back-end MRR, right? So why you need an irresistible, sustainable, scalable offer, which is a build and release type of offer? Well, guess what? The biggest threat I'm seeing today is competition. The more agencies, coaches, and consultants are created by these course gurus, the harder it will be to justify charging thousands of dollars, and the harder it will be to get above the noise of everybody else out there trying to get your ideal client's attention. So the build and release offer allows you to acquire clients faster and serve them even faster if your operations are dialed in. From that pool of clients, you get to retain the best of the best. So the old model of selling retainers just isn't sustainable when the cost to acquire clients is going up faster than the market's financial capabilities. You make no profit on the front end and end up with an average team that delivers average results, and you lose your clients and you end up running after new ones as a temporary solution. So what you have to do is make it unreasonable for your prospects not to experience success, and you'll be rewarded indefinitely. At the end of the day, you'll know exactly how to create an offer that will get you to your first $100,000 a month. If done right, you'll need anywhere from 3 to 12 months to pull this off. So this is what I call the value creator model. Everyone that I speak to solves a problem at each one of these levels, but this is the big gap, right? The big gap for your ideal customer's current situation at the 30K, 50K a month to the $10 million per month profit level. These are the things, the mechanisms that have to get fixed inside of their organization, from offer to lead gen, to appointments, to sales, to leadership teams, to leadership development systems. Okay. And it can be done at different levels, right? They can do it themselves. They can do it with you, or you can do it for them. Right? So in the do-it-yourself level, it's all about insights. It's you giving them the insights that they need to go to the next level, but it's very low transformational. At the done-with-you level, it's insights plus talent, right? They're leveraging talent. You're helping them deploy talent, right? This is more of a transformation, and they actually value it more because they're involved in the process. And then at the done for you level, you're giving them this, you're installing the systems and processes, also probably deploying some level of talent. And it's more of a transformation because you're in control. But the challenge is they could self-sabotage everything, right? My favorite model is the done with you model, because you can deploy systems, you can deploy talent, and you can deploy insights, and they are taking ownership of what you guys are building together. So they value it more, right? So this value creator model, this is the model that gets you out of the Red Sea, right? Competition by forcing you to be good. Everyone is trying to make more money by making bigger claims, making bolder guarantees, becoming a partner, by giving away free things and becoming a coach, etc., whatever. But let me ask you a question. How hard is it to do any of the things I just mentioned? Because in reality, it's not that hard. It's just about making a decision and changing a headline. So there is no competitive advantage in pulling a lever that has a low barrier to entry. And if you want to get paid like the top 1%, you need to find the highest barrier of entry and embrace that offer and vertical niche, etc. Right? That's the game you want to play. So I want to give you, if you don't take away anything from this training, this is the one thing you need to take away. And this is the $10.5 billion per year lesson from McKinsey and Company. And this is just to prove my point about why this trend of selling infrastructures and hard assets instead of just selling time or services or advice, coaching, consulting, etc., I want to share one of the most exciting insights from them all, which is McKinsey Solutions. This was a shift into hard asset-based consulting. Traditionally, McKinsey was primarily selling 3 to 4 month engagements. They come into your business and solve your problems, then they leave until you have any problem. And this represented 80 to 90% of their business revenue. Today, it only represents 20 to 30%. 30% of the business. In 2007 and 2008, McKinsey came up with McKinsey Solutions. The idea was to shift from advice, judgment, and soft deliverables and move to asset-based consulting, where consulting advice and judgment and pairing it with hard assets like software, systems, right? And this model represents 70% or more of their business today. So why did they do it? Well, with the speed at which technology is improving, they realized that relying on people's expertise would be a risk for their business. Therefore, they looked at macro shifts and looked at who was helping their clients better and through cheaper solutions. Technology. And they leverage that trend. Why would a company pay you millions of dollars to do something that a system can do for 100 times cheaper? Instead of fearing technology, they embraced it, and they have acquired 30 plus assets that they leverage when helping businesses. Now, the methodology is prescribed in technology. So this new model, what does it look like? You acquire a new client, you share a new methodology and infrastructure, whether that's talent, software, or both, for huge profits on the front end. And then you retain on a leveraged service, whether that's consulting, access to content, media, and software. And that's the new model. Highly profitable front end with a highly sticky back end that creates enterprise value for you as an organization. And in the case of McKinsey, they've scaled this exact model, exactly what I'm talking to you about, to $10 billion per year. So I don't want anyone that's watching this doubting if this is scalable or not. It's proven. The purpose of today's presentation is to wake you the fuck up and help you stop playing small. If you need help transitioning from a commodity service, installing leverage into your business, creating an offer your ideal clients will feel stupid to say no to, and setting up your lead generation, conversions, and fulfillment machines, book a quick 15-minute call with my team over at borrowgrowthmedia.com, and let's find out if we're the right team to help you eat a piece of this $1 trillion pie. I'll see you guys in the next video.